where he's like, I'm not even talking to you about your backstory. I'm talking to the robot about your backstory.
And I'm asking the robot if you suck or not.
Crispy, there is so much there, but at the same time, I'm realizing I might be the worst guest for this show because I'm just like, you guys just gotta talk this out.
He had an unregistered revolver, and not to tell anyone, especially his roommates. My brother in Christ. What? Thank you so much for coming back to the show. He's like the guy who appears the most on Crispy's Tavern, other than the actual.
It might be. It's been like a number of. I was trying to recall, but yeah. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we've done this a lot. Though I will say, the one thing I've really wanted to do with Bob has still not happened. He's promised me over and over again that's going to happen, and his audience have been asking for it to happen, and he ignores them every time. Why haven't you played Draw Steel with me? Motherfucker.
Did you invite me to play Draw Steel, or?
I've invited you to play Draw Steel like 3 times. What are you talking about?
Yeah, if you're up for GMing something.
See, he says this on camera. He says this on camera, but as soon as I move to make it happen,
you got me now.
As soon as I move to make it happen, it doesn't happen, okay? So you all better hold him accountable, okay? I see those comments on Bob's video saying try Draw Steel. Keep it up.
They're there.
Don't stop. keep going. But yeah, today we don't have him for Draw Steel, but we are going to be covering some RPG horror stories. But before we do that, for those of you who don't know who Bob is, Bob, explain who you are. Account for yourself.
Sure. Explain myself. Yes. I am Bob, aka Bob World Builder. Been making YouTube videos about role-playing games, mostly D&D, for like 7 years now. You know, over the last couple years have diversified into a number of other, usually more, what I consider to be anyway, more rules light RPGs with a bit of like old school or pulpy flavor.
We're going to start with one from Reddit, and this one is titled, Hello. I was part of a campaign for about 1 year. It was my very first campaign. I was excited to go into it since I've been an avid MMORPG player and have been interested in D&D but nobody to play with. So after I entered college, I ended up finding some people who were interested in D&D, as me, and we started a campaign with me, a cleric, a barbarian, a sorcerer, and a rogue with our DM, the culprit in question. I was very happy to have not only found a D&D group, but there were other girls, which made me feel more comfortable. I have been fortunate that I've never had to think about that kind of thing, but like recently I talked to one of my girlfriends, and for like 2 years she was the only girl in our group, and we just invited 2 more girls to join us, and she explained to me that like, Crispy, this is so much better, and I didn't even like clock it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, so I usually play with my wife, and there's one other girl in our group, and I know that like when only one of them is there, I don't know what it is. Well, part of it is also that the other players are like 2 of my best friends that I've known my entire life. So like we will definitely sort of take up the space when it's just the boys and then like one girl. Yeah. So yes, I definitely do think that is a real thing, a real phenomenon where just like having a more balanced group kind of allows everybody to have more presence at the table, you know.
Back to it. It was my first campaign, so I was having a blast making my character, creating a backstory, and learning all the necessary stuff for my cleric. Unfortunately, things did not go as smoothly as I thought they would. On this subreddit, who would have thunk it? For starters, my DM created a very interesting world, but we never got a chance to explore it because he was too focused on battles and didn't really give us a chance to roleplay at all. He was dead set on us picking the right feats and spells and everything, and basically wanted us to min-max our characters, which was my first red flag, but I shrugged off thinking that's how D&D is done. My problem came when he asked me to play a one-shot with him. I agreed thinking it was going to be fun. So on the one-shot, me and his DMPC switched bodies, and he played my character and I played his. For context, in his setting, holy magic is forbidden, and anybody accused of it gets hunted down. For that reason, I was trying to be very careful when I was using holy magic to not get our party in trouble. He started off the one-shot by telling me, I'm gonna show you how I'll destroy DMPC name in 1 second, and he used like all my holy spells, and he started telling me I wasn't playing a cleric right because I wasn't using the, you know, forbidden magic enough, even though he was the one that told me I should be careful about using them in this setting. It was really upsetting that he was telling me I wasn't playing my character right, even though I was doing my best to follow his instruction.
Crispy, there is so much there, but at the same time, I'm realizing I might be the worst guest for this show because I'm just like, you guys just gotta talk this out. That, you know, it's like it's the answer to every RPG horror story. And honestly, in this case, I feel like maybe don't bother talking out with this guy. Just like start your own little game with like the players from the group that you like too, if everybody has time.
I think this is a very like, okay, first and foremost, what interests me about this is because I have never, like, I play games that are usually really hardcore because I'm playing with players that really think about their builds. I wouldn't say they're like looking up stuff on RPG bot, but you know, when they're picking abilities, they're looking at the numbers and they're like planning with each other. So I'm usually going up against some pretty solid groups. I've never had a DM, or even like, I rarely, if ever, have read about a DM, because I've read thousands of RPG horror stories, but I've never read about a DM who's like, I need you to min-max. That's wild, especially if you're playing with somebody who's brand new.
Maybe because they're in college, the GM thinks they could just hand you a textbook and expect you to like memorize this.
In the second to last paragraph of the story, the word ChatGPT comes up, so I'm really curious to where this is going.
We didn't even finish. Okay,
no, we didn't even finish,
let's go.
We got more. When I was venting about it to one of the other girls, she told me she had the exact same buy switch one-shot with him, where he was telling her she didn't know how to play the character right. After that, he told me he put all of our backstories in ChatGPT and asked it to rate them, and told her that she got the lowest rate. That's insane.
All right, screw this guy, dude.
ChatGPT will tell you if your players' backstories are good, man. I don't think you're in the wrong line of work.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, why do you even need to rank them for it all? Like, why is it competitive? Who has the best backstory? Let alone, it's like turn to, I don't know, if you wanted to do something like that, you could have like had everybody share their backstory or something and been like, hey, how do you think each other can like improve, and like where can you make connections or something?
I don't even know if I do that, because it could get like weird, because it's a fun thing.
It could get weird.
It could feel weird.
Put it this way, I don't think this GM, even if they tried to do that, would have done it in a way that made the group happy. Again, and it just shows how this GM then like took something that should be this, you know, the backstory is a uniquely like personal, but then also like shared, you know, over the course of a campaign, something that should be like shared among the party, and just like made it the most isolated thing possible. Whereas like, I'm not even talking to you about your backstory. I'm talking to the robot about your backstory.
And I'm asking the robot if you suck or not. That's terrible. Yeah. This GM is bad, but I think, dude, we're on a roll. You're killing it, right? You said you weren't going to be good at this. You're killing it. I haven't played a lot of TTRPGs. I'm still fairly new to them. This is more of a session 0 fail. Most of them were D&D one-shots with a few college friends here and there. That was August of last year. After me and my friends moved on with our lives, I started missing D&D sessions. My partner recently reconnected with some of our old friends of ours. We'll call him Jacob. He's recently moved into an apartment with some of his friends. Back in high school, Jacob and my partner always claimed they were cousins, even though they technically weren't, which I completely empathize with. Me and my uncle are not related at all, so yeah, I get that. I don't know if you have the same relationship with like family, but
when I was younger, some like family friends that I just called my cousins, even though they were just like my parents' best friends' kids or something. Yeah.
All my aunties are my mother's sorority siblings, because I don't have any actual aunties. So like, you know, Jacob asked them if I like D&D, and I want to join a session with him and one of their roommates, the dungeon master who was putting it together. It was Crooked Moon by Legends of Avantris. Ooh, we got a name
shout out, yeah.
There. I said yes, of course. I was ecstatic to play again after so long. We scheduled for a session 0. In the few days in between, Jacob told me something unusual. We were talking over the phone about the game and what classes we were doing. And we were talking, he proceeded to tell me he had an unregistered revolver and not to tell anyone, especially his roommates. My brother in Christ. What?
Can you remind me from the beginning of the story, what is the connection between our reader, our speaker, and Jay? Like, aren't they strangers?
They're
basically?
Reconnected. So it's an old friend. Friend.
Old friend. Okay.
Bro, if my old friend tells me I got
maybe you want to confide in this person about this secret, but also it's like, why even bring it up if you're like, oh, don't tell anyone this thing.
Dude,
just don't tell that person then.
That reminds me of a person who told me to secretly buy them a machine gun without telling their mom, and I was like, brother, where are you gonna hide that thing?
also, like, just strange requests. Like, what the heck?
We start hanging out together, talking D&D and random things like a group of ADHD and autistic people do. As my and the Dungeon Master start talking about my character, a reborn rogue sinner, aka Skeleton Gambit, and debate on how to tie my character into the setting, my partner decided to put practice to their cosmetology skills on Jacob by having him sit in front of them. I noticed a few odd behaviors from him, but brushed off. As the night goes on, I noticed how Jacob is looking at my partner and kept trying to sit closer to them, even though I'm sitting with my arm around them. Eventually, the night has to end, and we all say goodbye, and that was that. The next day, my partner gets a text from Jacob asking to come over. Alone. Oh boy.
Yeah, I just noticed a word like further down the text that's I'm cringing over right now.
Yeah, I see it too. I see it too. Don't spoil.
Yeah.
They said yes because the couple was going to be there too. Jacob told my partner that while they were doing his makeup, he got a boner. And that old feeling from high school came back up. And because of their recent breakup, he attached the first person to show him kindness then. He begged them to not tell me, and after they agreed, he gave them an awkward hug. It made them feel incredibly uncomfortable, and they immediately left. This was someone they saw as family. After they got in their car, they immediately called me and told me everything. My suspicions that I brushed off were inevitably true. I told my partner and the roommates that I wasn't comfortable with my partner visiting without me. Bro, did they tell him about the gun to subtly threaten, like, don't mess around? Like, if that's the case,
yeah,
that's weird.
This person just, yeah, like the subject, this J, just definitely has like boundary problems.
Also, sorry to XP level 3 that I
them.
used the name Jacob. It just happened. I was thinking like Justin.
I couldn't help but laugh there.
I was thinking about something there, but yeah, no, that's wild. And also, the last paragraph is insane. 2 days after Jacob found out, I was gonna start making found out that I knew, started making private posts saying, "I wish you weren't taken. I want to not exist anymore. I'm gonna do it tonight. This is it. My final post. Goodbye." Oh, that's why they told him about the gun. My partner was quick to panic. They weren't comfortable with the confession, but still care about them. They contacted me and the DM. I told the DM about the gun and made sure he was okay. I haven't talked to either the DM or Jacob the past couple days, and I'm worried this will leave a sour taste in my partner's mouth because they never played D&D. Brother, that's the last thing on my mind right now.
Yeah, honestly, this is not like a D&D horror story.
This
is just a regular horror story among people with definitely, again, boundary issues, maybe depression and some other just like darker thoughts happening here. So like,
well, also could just be blatant manipulation. Like I've seen, like, I'm not gonna lie to you.
And that too. You're so right.
I've had a guy in my D&D game do this. It can happen, and it's bad. It's really bad. That man was hitting me up 3 years later. Like it can sometimes go down. People just get really, because when you feel like in a D&D, obviously this was session 0, which makes it absolutely insane, but these are like high school friends. Even in D&D, like when you're an adult, like think about it. Like I don't meet with my adult friends for 4 hours a week every week, other than my D&D group. They're the people I hang out with the most.
Yeah.
So like you form these crazy attachments, and like if you don't have good interpersonal skills or good boundaries.
Right. Also, were these people also in college? Is that what they said? Is this just like, is there like a sweet spot of maturity where like this happens? Where these stories come from?
Hey, my bad thing happened in high school. College was great.
That I feel like is more understandable. Yeah.
High school.
Wow.
High school was bad, man. One of my players turned into an incel and then stalked me online for 2 years. And one of my other players, she went crazy and joined a cult, man. That stuff happens. Stuff just...
Wow, now I see why you're in this line of work. See, maybe I always think to myself, like, because I didn't start playing D&D until I was basically finished with college. It was like kind of right at the end. And I always thought, dang, I wish I played this earlier in life. That's one of the reasons I started a D&D channel, was to spread the word about this, right? and now you're making me question if it would have
No.
been good to start earlier, or if I
think
started
it's
at
fine.
exactly
as long
the
as you don't
right
play
time.
with psychos. As long as, like, I think like, honestly, okay, there are reasons why everything that happened with me, like, looking back, I could predict that that stuff would go down.
There were signs.
There were
you're saying?
signs. I'll tell
Okay,
you
yeah.
off camera about the signs, but like,
Sure,
just make sure to pay attention to the signs. No matter what age you are, pay attention to the signs. If you got a guy who's claiming to have a boner about your partner at a D&D game, maybe don't play with that
Well,
guy.
it also just like reveals this extremely unnecessary secret to you, like about this,
the
weapon
gun?
that he
Oh
owns.
yeah,
It's like,
that
what?
was.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
that's wild. That's
Pay attention to the signs. That's a really good takeaway from
Yeah.
this.
And with that, I think that's a great lesson. I think we're gonna end this episode of RPG
Okay.
Horror Stories. Oh my God, Bob, we're rolling out the red carpet for you. What you got going
yes,
on right
thank you.
now?
Thank you so much. I mentioned I do have a YouTube channel earlier, but also, like many a D&D YouTuber, I'm making my way into publishing a bit. So this is my...
Which I would never do.
My little zine that is on Kickstarter right now.
It looks so good!
Under the Shadow of Hellfast Fire. Thank you. I really love how this cover art came out.
You made it, right?
I am not responsible for the cover, but I am doing a lot of the interior artwork myself. And it is written for Shadow Dark RPG, but therefore relatively compatible with your typical D20 roll high fantasy kind of games. And yeah, it just has combined a bunch of ideas that started in a cool Daggerheart one-shot I wrote. Thank you if you choose to support it.
It's already like 1,000% funded. So like, get in there, people, because this opportunity
Yeah.
isn't gonna last. So, if you guys enjoyed this episode of RPG Horror Stories and you want to see more, then check out this other episode that we did with Dice Cream Sandwich. We had a wonderful discussion with Kevin and Anna, linked up in the cards. But before you go, please do let me know that you were loyal to the tavern by leaving the comment, the sweet spots. Let me know you made it to the end of the video. Also, leave a like on this one, subscribe to Crispy Tavern Sims, and for content comes out. And finally, if you want to support us directly, head over to our Patreon or buy our merch, stuff like that makes these videos possible. And that's like, comment, subscribe, support. We will see you all next time. Farewell. Video. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna start recording in 5. Oh, I should really explain the format. I'm going to like read an RPG first, and we're gonna react together.